What's something you used to believe that you no longer believe? That was a question that ChatGPT asked me for this video. So here are three things that I used to believe that I no longer believe and why. I used to believe that I had to be perfect and good at everything to be worthy of love. And I believe this because I grew up in a family that was very much about performance. It was very much about how I performed in sports. It was how much I performed in musical theater or a show, or sometimes even my grades, even though grades were not as important as some of these extracurricular activities. I believe that's what I had to do to get love because the things that I was into, video games and play or being silly and connecting, um, were never appreciated. I wasn't really appreciated that much at home for just sort of being who I was. A lot of the love and the activities that I got or rewards that I got through my life were from them. And so so yeah, I deeply believed that like how I performed, how good I was at things, how successful I was the thing that made me worthy of love. So what changed? What changed was that I realized that like I'm loved in simplicity. I learned that through being around more people by doing the things that I love to do just for fun. A big breakthrough for that for me was the Radiant and Festival community in a place where for me it was so free because I couldn't perform. I couldn't perform while I was just having fun and dancing. I couldn't just, I couldn't win anything. I couldn't be right and I couldn't be wrong either. I could just be. And in that just being, I found people and friends who loved me for me, who loved me even when I might go apeshit for a little bit crazy and who could pick me up off the floor. Um, Being around people who genuinely cared about me, who showed up for me when I didn't feel worthy of being shown up for, who even in my worst moments would be there to pick me up. That's what changed that. What I used to believe is that I was right about everything. That I knew so much that I was right. I was born and raised in a particular version of Christianity that was very much like we have the truth, we have the way, we have what's going to get you to heaven and out of hell, and all of these different things. And there was so much rightness about who I was and what I believed. I was so firm about those things. And now I believe that I am fundamentally wrong. That I believe not like wrong as a human being, but like that I'm so ignorant of what is actually truth. And the one thing that I think I feel right about is that I don't know very much, that I'm ignorant to so much of the world and that it is sort of beyond my knowing, which is deeply humbling and humili and um, which is deeply humbling. And I appreciate so much more other people's perspectives and lives. And I believe more now that everything that we believe in is based off of faith, that there's very little that we actually know. Although there's also a part of me wondering now about the things that we know on a deep level, on a level of truth and believing in that. I used to believe that I know who I am. And I believe that because, well, that's what everyone believes for the most part. And now I believe that I have no idea who I am, that I am still discovering, and I will probably be in a constant state of discovery for the rest of my life. And that changed for me when I was at a festival called Shambhala, and I was spiraling and I was going to all these places and I was kind of just like really, really struggling in a few moments. And my friend, who happened to be a Zen priest, sat me down and he looked me in the eyes and he goes, "Who are you?" And I just kept wondering and being uncertain and talking and coming up with ideas. I was an actor. I'm a brother. I am a friend. I'm a son. I'm God. I'm a human. I don't know. I just kept saying these things over and over again. He would just shake his head and be like, "No, who are you?" And he did this with me for maybe 10 to 20 minutes where I just kept being like, "Fuck, I don't know what I'm going to say." And then I paused And he was like, it's the first thing you thought. And I just looked back up at him in the eye and was like, I don't know. And he put his hand on my shoulder and said, what a beautiful place to be that you get to find out. And ever since then, I have been able to let go of identity in so many different ways. There's so pieces of me that are a raver or a philosopher or a Christian or a brother and a sinner and a saint and all of these different pieces. But fundamentally, I don't know who I am. And I'm grateful for that because I can be me instead. So the thing ChatGPT wants me to ask it today is ChatGPT, what are some common beliefs humans tend to outgrow as they mature or evolve? Let's see what it says. Great question, Cameron. Here are some common beliefs people tend to outgrow as they mature and evolve. Personal identity and self-worth. I have to be liked by everyone. Replace with, it's okay if not everyone resonates with me. I am who others say I am. Replace with, I define myself and I'm allowed to evolve. My worth is based on my achievements or productivity. I have intrinsic value even when I rest or stumble. Knowledge and certainty. There's a clear right answer to everything. Life is nuanced and multiple truths can exist at once. Smart people have it all figured out. Placed with, wisdom often means embracing, not knowing. Wild. Changing my mind means I'm weak or inconsistent. Replaced with changing my mind is a sign of growth. Relationships and social norms. Love should be easy if it's real. Replaced with, real love is often challenging, but worth the work. That's definitely true. Conflict is bad. Replaced with, healthy conflict is a doorway to intimacy and clarity. Being vulnerable is dangerous. Replaced with, vulnerability is where real connection happens. Life purpose and control. Success looks the same for everyone. Replaced with, my version of success can be totally unique. I'll be happy once I reach X. Replaced with, joy is available in the process, just the outcome. If I do everything right, life will go as planned. Replaced with, uncertainty is inevitable and sometimes beautiful. I'd argue always beautiful. That's where the beauty is in uncertainty. And it's true. Life is fundamentally uncertain. There's a great book about this called The Wisdom of Insecurity by Alan Watts that talks about this. And it's one of my fundamental beliefs that I do hold now is that life is fundamentally uncertain. And when you realize that, there is a profound truth that comes through where you are free to do what you want because your career isn't safe, your marriage isn't safe, your relationships aren't safe, your tomorrow isn't guaranteed. So be who you are and live freely because everything's uncertain anyway. What is something that you've changed your mind about? Leave a story or a comment below. Also, let me know what you want me to do for the next topic. Again, I'm throwing this into ChatGPT and I'll let it decide. And yeah, we'll see what goes from there.